Hello, hello. Well, well. Oh, get the mic over here so it's looking at my face. There we go. Hey, guys. Good to see you. Jeff, Luke, Kurt, who will be back. Good to see you guys tonight. I don't know why I want those on or off. Jeff, yes, no, I have the 49 key version. It comes in a 61 and an 88 as well. But I was a little pressed for space. So just the 49. That means I have to do, as you saw, some jumping around if I want to get, the extra octave. And yes, Luke, I've got an open glass of water. I keep it over there, mostly. So don't worry too much. I think the worst I'll spill it on is an old iPad. So that's that. All right. So an interesting. I didn't realize the Matrix Brute was only 49 keys, Jeff. I thought it was 61 like the Polybrute. And I guess I looked at it and saw it, but I just it never really registered, I guess. Yeah, and 49 is fine. Both of my controllers in here are, well, I've only got the one in the system anymore, but both of them were 49s. Is my vocal up? Good. It needs to be louder, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's bring that up. There we go. The key lab that I have is also a 49, and it's nice. It's portable-ish. And it doesn't take up a lot of space, and then there's the perfect amount of space for in my case for the Launchpad Mini to sit there and be out of the way or right in the perfect spot. So it worked out pretty well. Let's we'll get into the what's in the jam real quick and get into that way we can get a drone going while we're talking. And let's see. So the jam is really simple tonight, but let's go ahead and pull it up and take a look. I need that shot. And so we'll start over here. Let's see, where am I? Here we go. First up is an instance of modwave native, and that's the one that's playing this thing. Little arpeggio under some stuff. And so right now I've only had the modwave native a couple of days, and then I was away for 3 days, so I couldn't spend as much time with it between the time I got it and tonight as I would have liked. But we're going to spend some time with it tonight. So right now I've just got factory patches that I'm playing. The couple that I've created, I haven't gotten moved over to the production machine yet. I made a couple on the laptop last week. So anyway, that's the first instance, and then we have another instance of modwave native, and that's doing this thing. Rodvik, welcome, and I think let me know if I got your name right. I think is it Rodvik or Roundvik? I know it's one of the two. I'm just not clear on the AU part. My Icelandic is minimal, so so anyway, welcome. Good to see you. And yes. While I'm talking about Rodvik here, he is an expert with the Korg R&D synths, and you need to check out his channel. It's in the link to his channel is down below in the description for tonight. Talsophie, welcome. Good to see you this evening. So anyway, another factory patch with modwave. And next up was this bass patch, and I've got that running through obviously supermassive. Just doing mostly a drone, although it's also playable as well. Okay, so kind of sort of between the O and the owl. I got it. Okay. Yeah, the description was kind of hard, and the playbacks that I was listening to of similar word or of the word were unclear at best. So I don't know. Maybe next time I'm in Iceland, I'll come see you, and then I'll hear it from you, and I'll know exactly how to say it. So anyway, next up in the jam, Paul. Good to see you tonight. How are you? Another instance of modwave. That was this lead line. And finally, the last patch is again another modwave. Surprise, surprise. So one thing that really impressed me about this is I had 5 patches playing in modwave and CPU. The CPU meter in Ableton Live was never made it to 25%. So really, that was pretty cool. Very efficient on the processor. So I like that. So obviously, I bought modwave native, and you know how I have all been about yet another wavetable synthesizer. But there goes focus again. Yes, it's on sale, which is trying to get the camera to focus properly. What's got it confused? Oh, I bet you the TV in the background's got it confused. Daggone it. There. I'll do it manually. There we go. All right. I don't like being out of focus. So I don't like looking like I feel. So yeah, half price sale on modwave native. I didn't notice if the others are on sale, but it's a good time. Korg Collection is also on sale. I did not pick that up, but that's, yes, Korg Collection is also on sale right now. It's their spring sale, and I can't remember how much longer it goes. So, that said, not sponsored by Korg, even though it's a Korg night. But as synthesizers go, Korg is almost my life. So I've been with Korg for as long as I've been playing. So and they've never once sponsored me or endorsed me or any of that kind of stuff. But that's okay. It's good. Korg and Cherry Collections list of future dives. So did I put it on this machine? I started to play with some of the Cherry stuff, and I've it's fine. It doesn't excite me like some of the other stuff does. But anyway, so just a couple things on my mind tonight, and we're going to get into. Well, it's in mine too, and also Rothvik is also heavy into the Korg world. So it's a lot of, you know, I could, we'll get into the thing. So I had commented in the I've been making comments that, you know, I could do what I do with a lot less. And I kind of came to an interesting realization that, you know, I could be, and I've said that, you know, that I would be happy with, you know, these, let's see, upper camera swinging around. I could be just as happy with, oh, it didn't go, okay. I'm going to move the down shot here, guys. Hang tight. Hang on to your chairs. I'm going to try and move it. There it goes. You know, I've said, no, I'm not buying any more synths. That's the thing. I've got more than I need. You know, I've said that you know, this combo is about perfect. But the realization is, as I really think about it, if I were to do this all again, I would have much more reliance on software than I do on hardware. So, and I'm kind of sort of writing an article on this for the website. Hi, David. Welcome. Hey, Tracy. Good to see you. At some point, you know, I'm probably going to want to have to and want to learn to live with less. So and periodically I go through this thing where I, you know, it's like I reevaluate the studio, and I think every one of us goes through that. We look at what we're doing and what we've got, and we say, you know, it's too much or not enough or whatever it is. And I'm kind of in this spot or this thought where, you know, I could be perfectly happy with a good computer, with a Polybrute, either the 6 or the 12, preferably the 12, but the 6 or the 12, a Control-S Mark III controller, and then everything else being in software. I love the knobs on the multi-poly, and I love having all the sliders and everything for the operators on the Op6, but they're not strictly necessary. I'm looking at chat too. I have mixed feelings about the King Korg Neo. It has its place, I think. It is not on my list of items to procure, but if they were to come out with a software version of it, with the native version of it, I would probably pick it up, because it does have its its unique qualities, just like every synth in this particular lineup does, and that's what makes them so great. And you know, I've called a couple of them so far Berlin School in a Box, and you know, three synths here. 3 of the 4, I think, so far definitely are. I'm not so sure about Op6 for, well, Op6 couldn't handle Berlin School in a Box, but the others can certainly do it or get close to it. And I think a guy could do really well with just the 4 R&D synths, honestly. I just happen to like there's things about the Polybrute that are unique enough to me that it will always hold a place in my studio. The fact that it's got the bitimbral capability, the morph capability, you know. Whoa, sorry guys. That's louder than I thought. I wasn't planning to play that tonight, so let's see here. Let me get over to where it is. Oh, it lit up a whole bunch of stuff. I got something set up wrong. Let's see. Let me mute some of this other stuff, so it only plays what I want it to play. There we go. The Polybrute has just has so many things going for it that I would not ever want to let it go. Everything else I can live with in software. Anyway, that's not the topic of tonight. So let's. But that is my love as far as hardware goes. Oops, sorry. Let me turn these things back on that are supposed to be on. Get to the right screen. Oops, what's that? Oh, that's gotta go. Okay. Got so many things here on the controller. Let's see. I'm looking at test. Seems like you're talking about the Ambient Zero. My fear with the Ambient Zero is that I don't, and it's partly because I don't know enough about it. When Task Boy gets through and reports back, so to speak, I'll be interested to get his take on it. I would be concerned possibly that there would be a lot of sameness from it, if that makes sense. But then I don't know how flexible the synthesizers in it are. It's a nice concept. I love the concept, and the price is the price you can't argue with on the Ambient Zero or any of the Sonicware stuff. Honestly, their prices are really really attractive. I don't have a lot of interest in a lot of their boxes though. So the drones are drones. Lots of they still have a lot of timbral. Okay, that's good. Of course, I've also got a whole computer's worth of drones. The Poly end. Panel icons are bonkers. Yeah. And Talsafi, yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that ends up being one-trick pony, and that's kind of sort of one of the things that I've gotten into in my thought process. Things have to offer something that is unique to me now. And that's where we're going to get into the fun stuff with modwave. Anyway, look for a post on the website about two of them coming up. One is my idea of what you need to get started in ambient, and then the other is if I were to do it over again, what would I do? Those will be coming up in the next few days. Yes, that's Jeff. That's kind of where I was going. The same trick, same thing, again and again. Because I've got several different things that'll do one thing, But if you notice, the one trick, the one thing things, I don't bring out very much anymore. Everything that I'm using is capable of doing multiple things well. So let's take a look at modwave and why I decided finally to go ahead and pull the trigger, because I was looking at my initial thoughts were that there was enough crossover in the multi-poly to modwave world that I didn't necessarily need the modwave. So let's see if I get this right here. Graphics. So, take a guess at what the first picture is going to be. Oh yeah. So, for those who aren't aware, this is the architecture of the modwave. And it's very, if you're familiar with the other R&D synths at all, you'll notice a lot of similarity. If you're familiar with a modern Korg synthesizer, you'll notice a lot of similarity. This is something that kind of came to my mind actually a couple, 3 years back, that Korg was really narrowing down the overall architecture. So once you learn the gist of one of their products, you have at least a starting familiarity with the next one. And that's true of pretty much everything in the R&D line as well, except possibly the Op6, because of its because of being an FM synth and being totally different mostly. So we've got in the modwave, we've got 2 layers. Each one holds a program. Program is in the case of this one 2 oscillators, the oscillators. Now the diagram here shows wavetable A and wavetable B in each oscillator. It's not necessarily how they're always set up, and we'll talk to that in a little bit. And the wave sequencing is where I'm, as we discussed the other day, where I'm still not up to speed on the wave state. But this general architecture, when that light bulb came on over my head, that it's like, oh, this works just like everything else. There's just maybe more or less of certain things. That was a revelation for me with understanding the way modern Korg keyboards work, or Korg synthesizers work. So with these, we've added the motion sequencer, which a lot of the other Korg workstations and things don't have. But the idea of having multiple envelopes, multiple LFOs, the mod processors all going to the mod matrix, blah 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 blah, has followed through from all the way back to it goes back to the M1 and the wave state. I mean the wave station is where this appears to have gotten born, and so this is roughly the same architecture that was in my Korg Kronos, except there were more layers and more engines. So once I discovered that, it's like Korg. I think I would have understood a couple of other Korg instruments that I had in the past much better. But it took 3 or 4 generations for me to finally, for this thick thing to finally light up. So if we go ahead and compare this, we can see this compared to the multi-poly, and it's basically the same, except we've got more layers. And this is the same architecture too, or similar architecture too, to the wave state. So they're all looking kind of the same. The special sauce here that got my attention, and this is something that I've been wanting in a wavetable synthesizer for a long time, is this. So when you've got an oscillator that's got 2 waves in it, that control over there to the left acts at least like a proper morph between the 2 waves, not a mix, but an actual morph. And that when I saw that and actually downloaded the demo and played with it and looked at what it was doing, that was like, yeah, ka-ching, take my money. Because that's the one thing that I think has been missing in a lot of wavetable synths. So that's the special sauce to me that the modwave brings to the table. So one of the things I wanted to do tonight was dig in for a little bit, maybe a half hour or so, make a patch or two on the modwave, and then play some music again, and then get out of the way so Jeff can do his thing tonight, because I'm sure he's got something lined up fun. Set the AB route, the AB blend to the random LFO. Yeah, yeah, I played with that. Again, I didn't get the patches that I had done or the presets that I'd done transferred over from the laptop. They were really kind of incomplete anyway, so they weren't really much worth looking at. But let's go ahead and play a little bit with the modwave, if you don't mind. Let's see, I want that shot for now, except that I need to be able to see it full screen. So let me push the button here on the switcher itself. Of course, then I won't be able to see comments as well. Yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just go ahead and take that up full screen. You don't need to see my face. Reminding me. I'm not getting, I don't know that reference, Tracy, so I'm going to continue on my path. So what I've got here, let's see, is what they call an Init patch, or an Init performance. I think I actually modified this one so it actually is an Init performance, because as it is, it does stuff, you know. So let's see, I don't know how loud this is going to be. So, basic sawtooth from the basic wavetable. If you move through it, it moves through just like any other basic wavetable. So what I'm going to go with it for what I got for now. What Rothvik is saying is if we go ahead and turn this to wavetable AB, and we pick another wavetable, and I'm just going to grab one at random. So now if we take this control, and I'm going to go ahead and put the position in the middle because it shows a little better sometimes in the middle. If you start, well, that's kind of sort of in here too. And I'm going to talk about, there's some other things happening in the world that may be an even more interesting wavetable synth coming, but and I'll touch on that because it's for public consumption, so it's not like it's a secret. So if we move this down to 50%, move this down, you can see it start to morph the two waves together until you eventually have a full morph. So if you take this, like he said, to about 50%, and I'm going to put that at 50% too, and we'll take, pick an LFO, doesn't matter. We'll grab this one. Oh, we're going to take it through a random. So let's see, triangle, we'll make this one of the randoms, and we'll drag this, put this guy on the LFO1, we'll go here, clicky, okay, we'll add LFO1, come on, oscillator LFO1 is there, we'll turn that up halfway. And I'm going to slow it down a little bit too, I think. Maybe not that slow. And let's dump this other thing that's going on. And probably not the best. Hey Kurt, welcome back. May not be the best pair of wavetables. Let's do something that's not so overwhelming up there. There we go. That might be interesting. I'm actually going to give it a little more range on this. So it's definitely getting all the way up and all the way down in that random. That's pretty good. And we can do another LFO on the position. We'll do another random there. Do the other random, or one of the other randoms there. Take that over here, add this, and generator oscillator 2 LFO. Turn that up some. And then the next thing I'm going to do, that's going to get some filtering, just because it's a thing to do. Let's see, what's our filter envelope look like? Let's go ahead and give that some action. And whoops. What did I do? Where I obviously hit the resonance control. Excuse me, by accident. Okay, so we've got that's going on. Filter cutoff is got filter envelope. We'll turn that up some. What all is driving that filter envelope right away? Turn the cutoff down some. Let's try that. So Tracy, one of the things you're mentioning there about warping morphs smoothly along wavetables across the plane. So I have some ideas for some really kind of sick stuff to do with that. I'm going to turn this LFO up here on the wharf type and let it stretch side to side. This is what I love about wavetable stuff. Is you get these complex tones very easily. I'm going to take a little filter LFO, slow it down, make it the other random, and we're going to take and stick that on. Let's see. Also into the filter cutoff, and we'll turn that LFO up a little bit. Oh yeah, that's right. Yes, free run, absolutely. All of them. Or all the ones that we're using so far, yes. I'm going to do a little bit of amp envelope as well, just to smooth things out. A little heavy on the LFO for the filter cutoff, so we'll back that down. Oh, let's see. Bring the cutoff itself down, maybe a little more resonance. And then I like playing too, right off the bat, I like playing with this, with some stuff in the sequencer. Even if it's not anything really amazing, just doing some pitch modulation in the sequencer, and nothing huge, just maybe a semitone or two or three, and not every step, and not the whole thing. And we're going to change the order on that. Let's see, where is that? To back and forth. And I really only want this to be one or two here. And then we can do things like get into the effects. And if nothing else, we're going to put a delay on that. And it doesn't really even matter which one. And we will drive that into the master reverb a little bit as well. I think one place that, to me, Korg needs to do a little work is with overb. I think Korg's reverb is perhaps a little, it could be better. It's not, I mean, it's not bad. It's just, it doesn't really, it does not, it's never excited me. And I'm not saying it's bad, Jeff. It's just not exciting. Welcome. This shirt is backwards. One of the things that I find with wavetables, and let's take a look at something. I'm going to turn layer A off. We'll jump into layer B, because it's still got the basic wave shape. One of the things that I think about in wavetables is starting out is, it's just with this basic waveform sweep, it's just a synth, just like any other synth that we've got. We've got a sawtooth, and we can morph through the various shapes, and there's a lot of analog synths now that'll do this. Where this gets interesting, though, is we can start to break that thing. But if you don't, if you start simple, all we're doing is doing basic modifications to wave shapes. And yeah, it takes a little getting used to. But the trick is, don't push everything to extremes right away. But if we just modulate that slowly, we're into something that doesn't sound, not super exciting, but it doesn't sound awful, and so like I said, if we throw an LFO on that, I'll use the pitch LFO because it's available. We'll slow it down. Yeah, and that's really what it gets down to. Less is better, unless until you're comfortable. And once you're comfortable, then you can go ahead and push things to extreme, because you're as you get used to things, pushing things to extreme doesn't, it becomes a lot less scary, so to speak. Then more is better. Exactly right, Quasor. Once you're into it and know where you're used to what you're doing, then you can go ahead and push it to the max. And I like playing too with these different, for lack of a better word, horizontal morphs. Some of these are more interesting than just the stretch. Mirror is one that I always liked. Learn the rules and break them. Exactly. So let's create a little more depth on this guy. Which LFO am I looking at? Am I looking at oscillator 1 LFO? Probably. Yeah. Mirror stretch, let's see what that one's going to do. And I'm going to move that a little further down here. The other thing that you'll learn is the closer you get to a sine wave, the less effect some of the things are going to have. Or it won't be as noticeable. Well, and that's Luke, you're absolutely right. Unless you're looking for a specific effect, it's yeah, a lot of people do. I mean, they crank the speed up, and I do it for effect, but only during parts of, like, if you were listening to the one patch that I was playing, they've done that, but it's on the mod wheel, so it's slow until you crank the mod wheel up. And yeah, let's find a wavetable that's more interesting than just the basic, which would be just about anything. So now we've got this. This is very subtle, so this is not going to be a crazy thing. Let's find that's going to be very similar, actually. See what this looks like. One of the things that I like to use the audio rate wavetable for life. One of the things that I like to use the modulation for is to get filter effects without necessarily using a filter, so I can use the filter for something else. Because a lot of this is like turning on PWM or a filter. You get this similar effect because you're monkeying with the harmonics. And I could probably even slow that down more, Luke, to be perfectly honest. And have even, we'll do more of it, but cool. Let's see, I'm going to do, I want this LFO, okay. All right, I got to take the chat out for a second so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Slow that down. And then we can do that same oscillator on the, excuse me, that same oscillator on the position. Again. And if we do that, add that second wavetable here. Let's go ahead and try boiling. Be a little less subtle about it. Oops, I got it. Let's make that free running again. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little filtering, just because that's what I do. Let's choose the MS-20 filter on this one. A little more resonance, raise that. See what happens if we add the two layers together. See, it's always an experiment for me. That's one thing I love about wavetables. It's always an experiment for me. Oh, we've still got that crazy sequence going over there. Let's turn that off for the moment. Effects for layer B, turn a different delay on just to make it interesting. We'll do the reverse. Sounds a little bit like a sick oboe. Kind of like it. Let's see, I'm thinking here. We'll go ahead and do a little modulation on that as well. Yep, absolutely. Put the orange phase on this. A lot of the effects, other than the reverb, the default settings that they've put in here are great starting points. Korg have really done a really nice job with these effects, and that translates over to the multi-poly and the wave state as well. I just wish they could have come up with something other than overb for the master reverb. Let's do this. What I've been doing is throwing, so far is throwing Valhalla Supermassive behind it. Oh, I don't have anything on modwave yet. Soften the amplitude envelope just a little, just so it's not banging into us quite so hard. And I've been with Supermassive, I've been kind of heavy, going heavy on the on that Pleiades mode. Let's see. Let's go ahead and have this be dotted eighths because that's what we do. We'll warp it some. We'll crank up the feedback and the density a bit. Make it a little heavier in the mix. Full wide. A little more depth to the mod. Cut it off about there. Oh, that sounds so huge. So one thing I am going to do, though, I'm going to jump back into the Master Effects section, main effects. I am going to turn on the EQ, and I'm going to take out a little bit of the low end, just so it balances out a little better. Not too much, just to roll it down and make it a little more even with the high end. So we still have a big sound. Oh, that's fun. I like it. I like it a lot. We're going to save this. I won't say this is done, but we're definitely going to want to save this. Let's see. Click on the savey thing, and we're going to call this. For now, I'm just going to give it the today's date, which is 4/21 live stream. Pad, and give it to me and stick it in my collection, and category we're going to make it be a pad. And let's see what else, anything else. Soundscape, that'll work. And save that as new so we don't lose it. And I've only used half of the synthesizer at this point. So let's see. You suggest, Raudvik, that I try the the cathedral in the main reverb. So let's try it. Where is it? Cathedral. And I'm going to bypass, oops, that out of the way. Bypass that for now. And let's see, let's get our sends turned up. My goodness, someone's truck just went roaring by down the street. Oh, let's see. That's probably good. Take this the input diffusers or this diffusion? That one doesn't go negative. That doesn't go negative. Main diffusion, okay. So that kind of sort of gets us into heading towards a shimmer, and I'm one of those guys. I'll throw a shimmer at it, you know, because I love shimmer delay used nicely. It can get over the top real fast, but I love a good shimmer delay. Let's see, and the Valhalla one's actually pretty nice. Let's see, we'll turn the mix down, keep the shift there, a little bit of feedback, bring the diffusion down a bit, good size. Let's start there. That out of the way. Timbre, 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 timbre. Under macro edits. Yeah. We may actually be reaching the point where our reverb is too big, though. I know people say you can say it's never too big, but sometimes size does matter. I'm going to come back here into, let's see, which layer do I want to do this to? Yeah, definitely this layer here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on my filter frequency here, I'm going to add a mod wheel. Oh, we haven't even gotten to playing with the chaos effects yet. Mod wheel, and we're going to take it negative a touch. Ooh, I'm liking this. Oh, let's see. I want to get, let's add some chaos to the underlying more kind of softer drone part of this. I'm actually going to bring this reedy, horny bit down a little bit too. And let's go over here. And let's see, where can we throw, what would be interesting to throw chaos on? Oh, let's see, turn it on. As a starting point, this decay orbit slow as a starting point. How's that move? Let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Launch trigger, we're going to make that yeah, let's put that on. Turn the threshold down. Thought there was one that would launch trigger with a note on. Oh, there it is. That's what I wanted. I want this one. Yeah, note on trigger. All right, Jeff. We'll catch you in a few. We'll jump. I'm going to wrap up here pretty quick, and then we'll come over and visit you on your channel. Jeff will be starting up at about 9:30 in about 17, 18 minutes, somewhere in there. All right, let's go ahead and get that started. I'm going to move the bump off center a little bit. I'll make it higher so it has a little more effect. Has the effect of pushing things away. Let's see. Turn the gravity. Yeah, I got a gravity shape. Let's that's too much height, I guess. Let's bring it back to the center. Why not? A little more friction. So right now I'm just looking at how's the thing gonna launch. Okay, so let's have it do something now. Layer A, I want to have it let's see. everything else is, a lot of things are already being done. Let's move the morph type. We'll add some of the add some of that there. Why am I not finding it? My eyes are tired. Whoa, not there. Why am I not seeing chaos? I thought this is where it was. Nope. Okay, chaos. We'll keep it simple. We'll go chaos Y, and we'll turn it up some. And I'm going to turn the oscillator LFO down a bit. And let's throw oh, I know one thing we could do. We could have, did we do anything with oscillator 2? No, we haven't even done anything with oscillator 2, have we? It's just sitting there playing that thing. Let's put position here. We'll add chaos Y to that. And let's do chaos, yeah, chaos distance. And turn that up some. And I'm going to do, let's do, all right, Paul, we'll catch you later. I'm going to reach out. I have a question for you. I'll send you a note later tonight or sometime tomorrow. Let's try that. This one down a little. Oops, no, yeah. I fear that's getting lost in the shuffle of everything else, though. So let's bring that down completely, because we didn't do anything interesting there, right? Gotta turn that off completely, bring this down a little bit as well. Okay, and a little more of that. Let's pan. Give that a little bit of a pulse. Okay, let's pan this guy over this way. This guy over that way a little bit. That one we'll keep towards center because there's nothing going on there. Okay, let's see how this sounds. All right, I'm going to save that. And with that said, it's about 20 past the hour. Jeff is going to be up in about 10 minutes. So at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and thank everyone for coming, and had a great time tonight. I hope you all did too. Expect to see more from all of the R&D synths as we go. I really am convinced that Polybrute, the R&D synths, pigments, that's about all we need in the world. If you got those, you can pretty much make anything you want to make. Very cool. So anyway, I'm going to kind of sort of fade away, and I don't even know what we're looking at anymore. Let's see. So doop-a-doop-a-doop. That. Yep. Okay. So I am going to. Hey, Mark. Thanks for stopping in. Taosophy, thank you. Paul, everybody who came, Routhvik. Let's see who else was here. Hit that participants list. Kurt. I guess that's all who's left. Jeff, Quasor. The man with the backwards shirt, Tracy. Yep, thanks everybody for coming. Like I said, going to play some music, and I will catch you all later. Oh, and of course, Mark, you come in just as I'm getting ready to say goodbye. But anyway, thanks everybody. We will catch you all next week at the same time.